One name keeps dominating the conversations behind the scenes of the NFL, my friend, and the Eagles are right in the middle of this story. The best pass rusher available on the market still doesn't have a defined destination. And while the rumors keep circulating, the Philadelphia franchise faces a question that goes far beyond the field. Do you make another big move when you already have one of the best pass rushing units in the league? Howie Roseman is used to tough questions, but this might be the most interesting one of the entire offseason. I'm going to break down the whole situation at once. What happened in the pass rusher market this offseason, how the Eagles built their roster at the position, and whether it still makes sense, financially and strategically, to enter this race. But first, if you're a die-hard Eagles fan who doesn't want to miss a thing, hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel. This story could still have new chapters before the season kicks off. The 2026 NFL offseason was defined by historic movement at the edge rusher position. Two of the best pass rushers in the league were traded within weeks of each other. First, Micah Parsons, dealt just days before last season began, and then Myles Garrett, sent to the Cleveland Browns in a trade that included Jared Verse and a substantial package of draft picks. With those two names off the board, only one player remained at the top of the list, the only elite pass rusher still available for a trade, still wearing the uniform of the Las Vegas Raiders, Maxx Crosby. Maxx Crosby's story this offseason is, to say the least, turbulent. At one point, he was traded, or nearly so. The Baltimore Ravens actually reached an agreement on the terms of a deal with the Raiders, but then backed away from negotiations. The price had been set at 2 first-round picks, and the Ravens simply decided that was too steep. With the deal dead, Crosby returned to Las Vegas, still under contract, still dominant, and still available for any team willing to pay what the Ravens weren't. And with Garrett now in Cleveland, Crosby became, without question, the best pass rusher available on the entire NFL trade market right now. To understand why the Eagles keep getting connected to this name, you have to go back a few months. Howie Roseman's original plan for the offseason was relatively straightforward: bring back Jaelan Phillips. The edge rusher had been exceptional in Vic Fangio's defensive scheme over half a season, elevating not just his own performance, but the quality of the entire unit around him, including Nolan Smith and Jalyx Hunt. But the NFL is an open auction, and the Carolina Panthers came in with everything they had. The Panthers offered a 4-year deal worth $120 million, a number the Eagles evaluated carefully and decided not to match. A decision that, at least for now, proved to be the right one. With Phillips out of reach, Roseman moved quickly, as he always does. Jonathan Greenard was a premium pass rusher who wanted a new contract situation, and the Eagles saw the perfect opportunity. To bring Greenard to Philadelphia, the franchise sent a 2026 third-round pick, a 2027 third-round pick, and a 2027 seventh-round pick to the Houston Texans. And the investment didn't stop there. Greenard signed a 4-year extension worth $100 million, immediately establishing himself as the #1 pass rusher on the roster. A surgical operation, fast, precise, and with immediate impact. The question that lingers is, was it worth it? Everything points to yes. What Howie Roseman built in the Eagles' pass rushing unit for 2026 is something very few NFL franchises can match in both depth and quality. Greenard leads the group as the primary edge rusher, with Nolan Smith and Jalyx Hunt forming one of the most promising young combinations in the entire league. Hunt, in particular, has a level of developmental upside that could surprise even more this season. A player who is only beginning to understand what he is capable of at the professional level. Beyond the main trio, the Eagles reinforced their depth back in March, signing Arnold Ebiketie as a quality situational pass rusher for the 4th spot. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka was also part of the group, but he retired before ever suiting up. To cover that gap, the Eagles signed Epenesa at the conclusion of minicamp. 5 pass rusher spots filled. And still hanging in the air is the possibility of an emotional return from Brandon Graham, a franchise legend who may have one final chapter left in Philadelphia. How can you not be excited about this group? But then why does Maxx Crosby's name keep circling back to the Eagles? Because Howie Roseman never fully rules anything out, and because the Greenard-Crosby combination would, on paper, be absolutely devastating for any offense in the NFL. The problem is that paper doesn't pay salaries. Greenard costs $25 million per year. Crosby would come with an estimated price tag of $35.5 million annually. Adding those two numbers together means allocating more than $60 million per year to just two players at the same position. Even with Roseman's genius for manipulating the salary cap through extensions, voided years, and creative contract structures, and he has pulled off miracles with that over the years, that level of financial concentration would be challenging even for him. And money isn't the only obstacle in this equation. For the Raiders to move Maxx Crosby, any interested team is going to need to deliver at least one first-round pick. And not just any first-round pick, we're talking about the 2027 draft, widely regarded as one of the richest in terms of talent in recent memory. The Eagles do own first-round picks in 2028, and could potentially use two of them as currency in a deal with Las Vegas. But giving up assets from the 2027 draft would be a significant blow to the roster-building process that Roseman has been conducting masterfully for years. The question nobody can easily answer: is it worth trading the future for a Super Bowl run in 2026? There is an external element that complicates this analysis even further: what the Los Angeles Rams did by acquiring Myles Garrett. With that move, the Rams immediately became the favorites in the NFC, and that did not go unnoticed in Philadelphia. The Eagles have one of the top 5 defenses in the league even without Crosby, and Jalen Carter remains a devastating force on the interior of the line that virtually no offense can afford to ignore. But if the direct competition is strengthening this aggressively, the temptation to respond in kind exists. Roseman knows the Eagles' competitive window is open right now, and he is definitely not the kind of executive who sits back and watches his rivals get stronger. But there is a financial reality that cannot be ignored, and it may be the strongest argument against pursuing Crosby. The Eagles need to extend key players on the defensive side of the ball over the coming months and years. Jalen Carter is approaching a renewal that is expected to be very expensive. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, two of the most talented young cornerbacks in the league, will also need substantial extensions in the near future. Committing significant capital to Crosby right now would put at risk the Eagles' ability to retain those three cornerstones long-term. And for a team that is thinking about sustaining a winning cycle rather than just one special season, that is a consideration that weighs far heavier than any immediate championship adrenaline rush. The most honest conclusion is this: the Eagles are in a very strong position at pass rusher. Better than that, they have the potential to field one of the best pass rushing units in the entire NFL in 2026. Greenard's arrival filled the real need that existed on this roster. The depth was addressed with precision, and the young players around him have everything they need to keep growing under Vic Fangio. Maxx Crosby would be an elite addition, but at this point, he would be a luxury that costs far too much for a team that already has its foundation in place and important financial obligations on the horizon. Howie Roseman made his big move this offseason, and he made it very well. With Greenard as the #1 edge rusher, Smith and Hunt as the young backbone of the unit, and depth secured through Ebiketie and Epenesa, the Eagles are ready for 2026, with or without Maxx Crosby. But the big question remains: if Roseman gets a proposal from the Raiders that makes sense and the window is open, do you think he pulls the trigger on the trade? Should the Eagles go after Crosby even with everything they've already built? Drop your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back later to keep you updated with the latest Eagles news.